Chapter 5, AFX, A New Era. During the summer of 1970, Derek Brand, survivor of the Nabisco takeover, quit Aurora. He felt cramped by Nabisco's management style, too many meetings, and returned to California where he and his son started their own toy design house. Brand's successor as vice president for research and development was Walter Moe, an Ideal Toys veteran who had worked for Aurora since 1968. Nabisco was demanding that Aurora's gross sales increase drastically, and they gave Moe sufficient resources to fund development. During Aurora's original partnership era, R&D had been a bare-bones operation. Moe quickly added equipment and staff to create a genuine research facility. Born in Germany, Walter Moe spoke with a strong accent and willingly accepted the role of Prussian drill master. He saw his job as one of recruiting young men, talented, spirited fellows, and demanding results. "I didn't try to win popularity contests," he later declared, though he believed in rewarding creative people for achievement. Moe described Nabisco's management philosophy as one in which various mid-level executives were thrown into gladiators' rings, where only the strong would survive. Departmental jurisdictions overlapped, an unavoidable reality since R&D, engineering, marketing, and sales all collaborated to get a product on the shelves. Product managers, such as the head of slot cars, were several steps down the chain of command, with lots of responsibilities and very little authority. However, product managers with R&D under them developed new concepts, which they pitched to the men up the corporate ladder for decisions. This upward flow of innovation drove the product line and the corporation. Rethinking slot cars. When Derek Brand departed, Charles Diker transferred model motoring leadership to Jim Keeler, the recently hired product manager of Aurora model kits. For a while, he ran both lines, with two sets of headaches. Although only 30, Keeler was a well-known figure in the hobby industry. He'd helped produce Revel Ratfink hot rod figure kits in the early 1960s. Slender with dark-rimmed glasses, Keeler looked the part of a model fanatic. Jim Keeler was given a single job: develop a new car that would beat Tyco Pros, yet still sells an inexpensive mass-market toy. At the very least, Aurora needed to narrow the performance gap. This meant a car with better speed, improved handling, and enhanced body detail, not to mention easy manufacture, rugged build quality, and low price. The new car needed a new name. Wild Ones and Tough Ones were out of the question, and other suggestions, including Wipeouts, Muscle Machines, Street Cleaners, Supercars, or Boss Machines, just didn't cut it. After an all-day brainstorming session, Keeler had his name, AFX, derived from National Hot Rod Association classification terms, A, hot stock sports car, and FX for factory experimental. Auto motoring would not die so easily, however. As one of the few remaining old-timers, Dick Schwarzschild argued that Aurora had too much invested in model motoring to give it up. Jim Russell also strongly opposed the name change. "Blew my stack," he later recalled. "I thought it was stupid to associate our line with the dirty t-shirt and leather jacket guys." But Diker liked the new name, so AFX was in. As a partial compromise, model motoring continued in small letters under AFX. The slash in AFX would disappear in 1973. Innovation, sort of. When AFX cars reached stores in 1971, experts raised their eyebrows. The heart of the car was still the same old pancake motor. However, evolutionary changes did exist, and they made a difference. The most visible modification was the chassis. In his last contribution before leaving Aurora, Derek Brand and chief machinist Victor Kowalski added vent holes to aid motor cooling. In addition, new axle positioning lowered the car. Tires were wider and softer. A new blade slot guide, as opposed to the basic pin, improved the car's track hold. AFX bodies snapped onto chassis ears, making it easier to access the motoring gears. The AFX bodies represented Aurora's best work. Improvements in detail were Moe and Keeler's response to Tyco's popular new car styling. Keeler, Tyco had been making tremendous inroads with Kmart and Sears. Their individual cars were doing extremely well. As a modeler, Keeler was accustomed to intricate detail on 1/24 scale static models. He saw no reason why 180 scale cars couldn't be better. In its search for better styling, Aurora ended its long relationship with HMS. The new design team. With no fallback position in the form of HMS, Aurora took design completely in-house. The new pattern maker was Ron Klein, a young man from California recommended by Jim Russell. Klein was an independent stylist who worked from his own design drawings. He had sculpted the earlier Rust Kit cars. Klein's sculpting style was described as cartoonish, but it looked good in HO scale. Perhaps more realistic than a truly accurate rendition. Klein loved European sports cars and wanted Aurora to make lots of them. This sometimes led to clashes with Keeler, who revered American street machines. The debate's legacy was a creative mix of car designs, executed in the best detail ever offered in HO. Klein was entrusted by Keeler with Aurora sports car designs, but Keeler went to the prestigious Art Center in Los Angeles to hire a designer for the rest of the line. Richard "Rake" Ratajkowicz had hoped to go to Detroit like many Art Center grads, but instead went to West Hempstead. Rake later raided his alma mater for more talent. John Vernon showed that he had mastered the toy company technique of designing models for magazine photos. He became Ratakowicz's number two. In 1973, Art Center alum Ken Hill joined the company. Ratakowicz, Vernon, and Hill became the AFX design department for all Detroit-inspired cars. Never slow for work, the three also styled Aurora toys and games. The difficulties of design. Chief among challenges for slot car designers was the fact that bodies had to be distorted in order to fit over motors and onto standard chassis with fixed wheelbases. To make matters worse, autos differing in size from a NASCAR Stalker to a Volkswagen had to ride the same slot car chassis. Ratakowicz made the strategic decision to design each car to fit its wheelbase, rather than match scale among AFX cars. A NASCAR racer would thus be smaller than a Volkswagen. Wheels posed another dilemma. Ones that rode well were invariably too big for the car's overall scaling, creating huge wheel wells in the tiny fenders. To the dismay of the designers, there was no simple solution for cars forced to ride on a standard AFX chassis. A specialty chassis with smaller front wheels and oversized rear wheels was introduced and used on some models. Despite these challenges, the AFX design team created some of the best-looking slot cars of all time. Mike Myers paid tribute to his designers' use of incredibly creative cheating in making their tiny car models look like the real thing. Plastic played a big role in innovation as well. AFX cars began to feature a new variety of plastic colors and paint schemes. We drove Dow crazy with requests for exotic plastic colors. Keeler recalled, Ratakowicz designers created 3 different color and paint schemes for each car. The hot-selling 1957 Chevy Nomad 1760 received the widest range of body and tinted window plastic combinations. We did it in umpteen different colors, said Keeler. Not surprisingly, when Tomy AFX reissued the Nomad 20 years later in 1993, it immediately became the best-selling car in the line. The effort to get 1971's AFX cars into production paralleled the rush to bring out vibrators in 1960. We worked our tails off 7 days a week, remembered Ratakowicz. The effort paid off. AFX sales went through the roof, declared Keeler. We couldn't make them fast enough. Aurora slot car revenues would triple from $15 million in 1970 to $45 million in 1976. Internal battles and the rise of Can-Am. AFX success was actually a vindication of sorts. Aurora marketing executives had argued that money spent on development of a variety of cars would be wasted. Sales, they believed, would be the same if Aurora offered only a few basic car types, track options, and accessories. Jim Keeler argued that bringing out a continuous flow of new cars made slot racing a year-round hobby, not just a Christmas toy destined for the closet. As long as Junior's track was set up, he'd be buying new cars and accessories, the real profit driver for Aurora. Keeler's argument won the day. Among the most popular AFX cars of the period were Aurora's Can-Am road course racers. Carved by Ron Klein, the models evoked the thrilling vehicles that raced by top drivers across early 1970s America and Canada. Aurora took the headline-making Can-Am concept and shrewdly turned it into a best-selling slot car line. The series debuted with the Ferrari 612 and Autoworld McLaren, 1751 and 1752. Keeler attended the inaugural Can-Am race, took photographs of every car, and had slot versions in production 6 weeks later. Record time for Aurora. Unfortunately, lead time would never be this good again. By the mid-1970s, Aurora would require 18 months to bring a slot car to market.